Coming up, we have from the Hollies, Mr. Alan Clark. He has a new record coming out. That'll be on April 7th. Go down below, click on the links. I'll never forget the single Buddy's Back with Graham Nash. That's all happening now. Don't touch that dial. Alan, it's great to meet you, and thank you for spending some time with me.
Thanks for having me, Stefan.
No, wonderful. I got to ask you before we get started. I
Okay.
love what you got behind you. See, I have my Fender 78P bass. I got a little of my stuff, some cabinets here.
Yeah.
What do you got behind you over there?
I've got my Buddy Holly guitar, and I think I've got a 56 Telecaster over there. Oh, and I also play a Loudon acoustic.
But
yeah, you know,
it's like, but the Buddy Holly guitar, that's your, I see right behind you. So that's your favorite right there, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. I every morning I come in here and I do put Peggy Sue. I do Peggy Sue.
Oh really?
Yeah, there's a story about that. If you want to go that far,
you know what? I would absolutely. I would love to go. Since we're talking about your record and we got Buddy's Back and the video's out, and I'll put the links down below for everybody to check that out. But this is Alan Clark, and co-founder, lead vocalist of the Hollies, and his new record, I'll Never Forget, comes out April 7th. Includes
with Graham.
With of course with Graham. We can't forget about Graham Nash. No,
you wouldn't let you.
You know what?
If you met Graham,
I have not met him. I would love to meet him. I have not met him. I'm not lucky enough, but hopefully after this interview, he'll say, you know what? I like this Adika guy. Let's do this. You're an artist on record, your ultimate intimate conversation with your favorite artist. Make sure you check out our VIP All Access Backstage Pass. A lot of great stuff there with a lot of great guests. Unedited, unfiltered, that you won't see here. You'll see me laugh. You'll see me cry. You'll see me stutter. It's all there. But in the meantime, put your hands together. We have a wonderful guest with songs like Bus Stop, Carrie Ann, He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother, Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress. Well, I have the co-founder and lead vocalist of the Hollies here today, Mr. Alan Clark. It all starts now. Good guy, let's do this.
Hey, listen, you had Billy Bob Thornton on not so long ago, didn't you? If
yes,
you can get on, you can get great.
So behind you, you got that Buddy Holly guitar.
Yeah.
So your ritual, what's your morning ritual? Is it tea, coffee, and the guitar? What do you do in the morning?
Oh, yeah, I do. I had breakfast first with tea, not coffee.
Okay.
I'm not allowed till 11 o'clock, So, and then, I come up to my room, I switch everything on, and I look around and I take my Buddy Holly guitar down and I do Peggy Sue. Peggy Sue, as you know, Peggy Sue got married. I tried to get Peggy Sue from the foundation, but they only had Peggy Sue got married left. So I had to have that one. But it's great. I got mine for life, as did Phil Everly. Unfortunately, Phil Everly died a while ago, and it was sorry to see him go. But we got ours no one else got theirs for life. That's because I'd retired. But the guy who runs the actual education foundation, Mr. Bradley, he rang me up once. He says, I've got something for you, Al, which you're going to really love. I said, okay. He said, well, because you didn't get one of the guitars with a Buddy Holly fret in it, because all 25 have got a Buddy Holly fret from the original guitar. Mm-hmm. He said, what I'm going to give you is Peggy Sue's wedding ring. I said, pardon? He said, I've got Peggy Sue's wedding ring, and I'm going to put it down, send it to you, and I want you to put it in your guitar and keep that. And I had to say, oh no, you can't do that to me. You're not going to give me Peggy Sue's wedding ring and for me to lose, because I'm that type of guy. I thought, no, I had to refuse it. But it would have been great if it had put in there. And I was really the type of guy that could look after things, but I'm not that kind of guy. I think when Graham and I met, and we sang in the school, they put us on two chairs because they'd heard us singing in the assembly. So they put Graham on one chair. I mean, we were about 4 foot tall at that age, and we sang "The Lord Is My Shepherd," and he sang in harmony. And we were 6 years old. And to me, I mean, wow, that was something at that particular time. But that was the
6 years
first
old. 6 years old.
thing, yeah, that was, well, what is it, 76 years ago?
Incredible.
Yes. No, no, I have to get this right. I don't want to, I mean, I'm ancient, you know. Yeah, about 75 years. There you are. That's it. 70, I've known Graham for 75 years, and it's incredibly stupid. It really is. But anyway, we've been together that long. We've been off and on, you know. It's one of
Of
those sort
course.
you know, you get certain people that come into your life
Yeah.
at a
Yeah.
certain time. And with Graham being together until he went to grammar school, he passed what was called the 11 plus, which allowed you, if you passed, you went on to a higher education. I didn't pass it, you know, so there we spent some time away from each other because we were in different schools. But we came together because of a guy called Lonnie Donegan. Yeah, he'd been over in America and he'd got
Yeah.
all those songs like Rock Island Line, you know, Bring a Little Water Symbol, Cumberland Gap, you know, Pick a Bale of Cotton, all those things. And what he did, all the kids must have been around about the age of 13, 14. They mithered, do you know the word is mithered? They actually pleaded for their fathers to buy them a guitar. You know, luckily enough, Graham got one, I got one, and we sat down and we learned all those songs.
Performing in front of people, that was,
Well,
huh?
I was all the kind. I really was frightened when I was doing it. I
You
really didn't
were.
want to be. I was the type of person that would have said, no, I'm walking away. But Graham, being Graham, even then he was saying, no, we got to do it. Come on, we'll go on. I'll be the spokesman and I'll talk about it. And we got into a routine where he would be the guy, you know, doing the talking, and then I'd start singing, and that's the way it went for quite a long time.
So that's
And
how it started out. Interesting, huh?
yeah, very much so.
So he kind of
And
pushed you together, you know, you guys together, and you're like, just you could do
we,
this.
we were like twins, and you couldn't part us. And the magic about me and Graham, and I'm going to say the magic when we were together, was that every time I opened my mouth to sing a song, Graham would be there straight away with a harmony, spot on. It was like having their minds were tuned together somehow.
Now getting back with Graham to work with him
Yeah.
on Buddy's Back.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I've been trying, well, when I say I've been trying to get Graham back to sing some stuff, it's always been in both of our minds that before we actually pass over to the other side with all the other guys, that maybe we should complete the circle by doing an album. And I've always thought of that being a good thing, to get that out of our systems before it's too late for us to do it. So I did have discussions with Graham. I did a surprise. I was there doing a surprise assignment to give him a lifetime's achievement from Americana, and they got me to kept it a secret for me to be there on the side of the stage, and I was introduced and I walked on. And I didn't know where Graham was because I didn't want to look at him. And I gave my introduction and said I've known this guy for, then it was about 72 years. And I said, and that tells you how old we are now. But I'd like, and then I did, and he came on stage and put his arms around me, and it was very emotional. You know, it was one of those things that used to happen a lot in the early days. And I said to him, I said, this is good. You know, this is good. He said, yeah, Alan, this is good. He said, I'd like to do something. So I left him on stage to sing his Teach the Children. And I went home. And then I went down to see him in London and played in my album, Resurgence. And he liked it. And he said, this sounds as if we're on the way to doing something. So I still had to wait just a little bit longer. So I rang him up a few times, talked about it. And then I wrote a song, I'll Never Forget, which is about the reason, should we do this together? What it is, we don't know really whether it's going to be accepted by anybody. Will they remember who we are? They'll remember who Graham is, and they'll remember who I am from another group. But will the youngsters remember the sound we used to make? Will we get a deal? All that sort of thing. So the song is about ifs and buts. And at the end, the answer to that is, if it doesn't happen, I'll never forget. So that's what that song is. And I played it to him, and he said, it sounds like we should start doing it. And that was it. And we came to the decision that it would be a solo album, and Graham would sing the harmonies on all of the songs. Graham's got into, he writes different stuff now. Being an activist and all that sort of thing, I don't get that serious when I'm writing, but I mean, I can understand why he does this. And I can't actually take the part of David Crosby. We miss him too, and Stephen Stills. There's just no way that my voice is going to do the same with Graham's songs as they did. So we decided that my songs are best suited for the harmonies that Graham does with me. So as I wrote the tracks, I always wrote it with Graham in mind and what he would do in the notes that I can reach. And so it got to the part where I said to Graham, look, you're doing all my songs, you better write a song. Write a song. And he said, okay, I've got one going about Buddy Holly, so I'll send it to you. And it was about 3 weeks later, and I thought he'd forgotten. And then I got Buddy's back in the way that he does it in his studio with his band. And I liked it. I thought this is good. Actually this, and it was 2.5 minutes long. So this is a sound that we can make that the other people will remember, that that's what we used to be like. And the type of tune that, Graham left because he didn't want to write pop songs, but he comes up with this one and we're together again, And we said, okay, we'll do it. So I took his version of it and took it down to my producer, and we sat down and we tweaked it, we did things to it, but most of the basic stuff was there with Graham. His guitarist, Shane, Shane, he's brilliant. And so we did our bits on it, and then I sent it to Graham, and he did his harmonies, then sent it back to me, and I did my vocal, and then I took it back to the studio, and we mixed it and tweaked it and things like that. And then sent it back to Graham to see if he approved, and he approved immense. So, he said, yeah, that'll be great on the album. When I actually got the deal with BMG, they said this could be, release this as the first single. 1, because you're back with Graham. 2, because you love Buddy Holly, and it's about Buddy Holly. And 3, you're singing it, and it's on an album, and you've got the guitar to show, what Buddy Holly meant to you. So there it is. It's out as a single, and it's fabulous.
I want to know now about the song for your wife, because I saw in the liner notes. I was so curious to hear that one. Can you tell me about that one?
Well, she always says that I've never written her a love song. But, most of the things that I've done, she's always been there in the back of my mind. And because she said that, and we'll be married 60 years next year, and I thought, well, you better write something that's worthy of it, And it's one of those songs that you feel is right when you start singing it, And I wrote the lyrics, which was a song about no matter what happens, whether it rains or shines, or the world is going to come to an end, it's all better for the presence of you. So that's what the song means. It's about it. No matter what happens in your life, I know it's going to be great for me because you'll be standing by my side, and it only happens because you're there. It's the presence of you that makes it all happen. That's what the song means.
Beautiful.
I think she's pleased with it.
The way you described it is beautiful. That was Mr. Alan Clark. If you want to see more of this episode, check it out. All Access VIP Backstage Pass and Patreon. You can find this episode unedited, uncut, and many others. Until then, kids, I am Stefan. You are beautiful. And remember, it's only rock and roll, and we like it. Who loves you, baby? We do.